Hawkeye opens in New York in 2012. A young girl, Kate Bishop, is watching her parents fight. Soon her domestic troubles are interrupted by an alien invasion. 2012 is when the Battle of New York. The alien invasion led by Loki. Kate's a rich kid, and her parents' swanky penthouse apartment is right across from Avengers Tower. The building takes a considerable amount of damage, with the ceiling caving in, and a large section of the wall completely obliterated. Then, young Kate looks out and sees a hero. A hero with a bow and arrow. Hawkeye himself, Clint Barton, taking down the alien horde and saving the day. A distraught Kate is suddenly filled with hope. She asks her mother Eleanor at her dad's funeral, what if they come back? We now jump forward to modern day, or present. Kate Bishop is on the cusp of graduating college. She's out with the gals, pulling a prank with her trusty bow and arrow. She wonders if it's the bell itself or the dangly thingy that makes it chime. The tower is a considerable distance away. She shoots an arrow and it hits the bell. Nothing happens. Then she decides to go for the dangly thingy. It rings the bell, and then the bell comes crashing down, along with the rest of the tower. Kate and the girls run. Meanwhile, in New York City, Clint Barton is taking in a Broadway show, Rogers, the musical. We're back in the Battle of New York, only this time everybody is singing and dancing. It's funny, for sure. But Barton is having violent flashbacks at the sight of Black Widow. It's clear that he hasn't processed everything that has happened and is still in a lot of shock. He leaves to clear his head, sees Thanos was right, graffiti, and a dude asking for a selfie at the urinal. Clint refuses, and it's a joy seeing Renner slide back into the character. More wary and worn than he ever has before, but also more deeply committed to his family, to being a better husband and father. Kate is also back in New York, and drops by her mother's house. Eleanor has got a new boyfriend, Jack Duquesne, who has an odd fixation with swords. Jack and Eleanor are getting ready for a fancy event. Eleanor tells Kate to get ready. She's coming too. Kate, meanwhile, is trying to figure out Jack's deal. There is something off about him. But somewhere else in town, Clint is trying to have the best Christmas ever, on a budget, and while in New York City. They left the play halfway through and he's with the kids eating Chinese food and taking ideas from them about what would make the best Christmas ever. As they are getting up to leave, the waiter comes by and says that the dinner is on the house, because you saved our city, or something along those lines. Again, it double underlines the importance of the Battle of New York. From one waiter to another, we follow Kate at the party/fundraiser event. Kate is wearing a suit, and everyone thinks she is a waiter. She finds out that Eleanor and Jack are getting married, which raises her suspicions further. And she notices that Eleanor is talking to Jack's weirdo uncle. Also somewhere in this sequence, Lucky the pizza dog is introduced. Using her waiter-like camouflage, she sneaks into the kitchen and down into an underground wine cellar. The auction itself starts off as typical eccentric rich guy stuff. The first item is a fossilized dinosaur skull, which is something that Nicolas Cage once owned. But then things get more interesting. The auction starts selling off stuff recovered from the Avengers compound, following the events of Avengers, including Ronin's suit and sword. But the weird rich guy auction is interrupted. Thugs enter the cellar. We got 90 seconds to grab the watch, one of them says. Kate grabs the Ronin suit, putting it on. Of course, this leads to a fight. It turns out that the thugs are looking for a watch from the Avengers compound. Kate rushes outside, fights some of them, and sees Lucky in danger. She saves the dog. Back in their pretty nice-looking hotel room, Clint is tucking the kids in when he catches a glimpse of the local nighttime news. Somebody is running around fighting goons in his old Ronin costume. There's a slight concern in his eye. Kate takes the dog back to her crummy loft apartment and leaves him with some pizza. Lucky is a pizza dog after all. She leaves and goes to Armin's penthouse. She finds Armin murdered. The scene is pretty bloody. Outside, the goons show up and starts to attack Kate, thinking she's the Ronin. Hawkeye saves her from the goons and corners her in an alleyway. He pins her up against the wall and takes off her mask. "Who the hell are you?" he asks. And that's how the episode ends. What are your thoughts about the new Marvel series? Let me know in the comments section. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this.